phase 2 is to remove the sorting helper. And just to show you basically, sorting helper meaning the items that are helping me sort out my items. And we'll explain how this works when we get to that section. But let me show you what happens here. The sorting helper, basic setup here, whenever an item, let's just grab some snowballs out of this section. If we throw them into this chest, you can see they're being pulled out, and you'll see down here that they're being shot out by this dispenser, which means that you're going to lose them. If it was items that you didn't want to lose, you could just put up a whole bunch of chests down below to save them, but I've chosen the snowball because it's stackable by 16, which I'll show you how that works into the system. It's dispensable, which means it will be immediately removed from the game after it's launched, and it also is of a form of an item that can be both condensed into another item, such as, you grab some snow here, you can make it into snow blocks, and if I wasn't in creative mode, I would show you that you can also break down the snow blocks into snowballs. So I'm using that because you could store it all in snow blocks and not have to worry about having these in your system. You could also put another section like right before this section or as part of this to have extra storage of it, but you're running into other complications that I just didn't want to deal with in a simple sorting system. I'm explaining the complicated parts, but the setting up is really rather simple. Just giving the extra information for anybody who is wondering how it works. So, as we have here, the items that get sent along the system, once they reach this right here, if it's a snowball, it will get pulled down into here because this will accept snowballs. I won't pull any other items because there's no extra slots. As long as you keep this all the way full, 5 snowballs will maintain the system, and it'll just keep on pulling one into here, and it will continue to drop them to the one below, because as it goes above, it's only activating 1 piece of redstone right now. As it goes above that level, 6 snowballs will activate a second piece of redstone, which will turn off this torch here and allow it to be pulled down. It only turns off the torch long enough to pull out the 1. It doesn't pull out more than 1. But then it sent this hopper here, which will keep 1 inside at all times just because of how fast it acts. It'll keep an extra 1 in here. If you remove this, it will just fill it in. You don't need to have any in here to start with. But it will put them into this dispenser, and as you'll see, whenever, just grab a few snowballs, whenever a snowball ends up in this dispenser, you notice it shotted out automatically. The comparator will turn on, and it's only set to 1, so anything at all will set it off. But it'll turn off this torch, and then we'll have a repeating signal down here. If we throw in, see if I can do it fast enough so you can see it. Yeah, see, it just sends a signal. This torch turns on, activates these, goes up here, activates this, and turns off the torch, and then it turns back on again. So it'll just keep sending this round and around until all the snowballs inside here are used up. Also, don't forget to make note of this torch down here, which is the one that will be turning off and on as the signal goes around to actually do the launching of the snowballs that are in this system. As it turns off and on, it'll power this block and activate the dispenser here. Just as a side note, if you send like a whole bunch of snowballs through this, why you would do that, I don't know, especially if you know how your sorting system works, you may be able to fill up this dispenser. Like if I grab a stack here, I think you'll notice if I just throw them in the chest and we go look at the dispenser, you'll notice it starts to build up a little bit, 4, 5, and eventually it will catch up with what's left and finish dispensing them. So if you were able to fill up this entire dispenser, this entire hopper here, this entire hopper, or at least fill up past this first bar, because then it will start pulling out of more than one location. Just take my word for it if you don't understand what I just said. But if you fill up all of this space here, but you would need a whole lot of snowballs, probably at least a chest worth before it would start messing it up. Then you could end up bogging down the rest of the system, because the snowballs would have nowhere to go, or it would mess up this system once it gets caught up again. So be aware of that. I mean, you could put several chests here before you set up this dispenser if you think you're going to have a problem. Put several chests with hoppers going down to store your extra items and allow them to be dispensed, but it really shouldn't be a problem if you're keeping an eye on it. So that's phase 2, removing the sorting helper. I've also decided to include 2 additional examples of a repeating pulse. Both of these will replace the sorting helper repeating pulse here. Both of these will do the same thing, but they are much faster with different benefits. For instance, if you put them in this one, just listen to how fast they pulse. It's kind of slow. You kind of got an idea for the rhythm there. This one is going to be much faster. Notably faster. And you'll notice that they don't get stuck in the dispenser here like the other one did. This one is probably the most efficient and uses a comparator instead, and does not have a torch underneath here. Instead, it activates it from the side, and shouldn't interfere with any of the stuff you have over back there. How it is set up now, because the only thing next to it is a chest. This one, on the other hand, is a little bit shorter, and seems to be fairly effective. It will, of course, though, require more than just one piece in it. If you throw a bunch in here, if it's like it's going through the system, it's just as fast as this one is. They're the same speed. The difference is that this one has to fill up to a certain point before it starts working, and if for some reason it can't eject that one, as soon as it gets it, it will fail, because it's based on the fact that the signal length goes up one and then drops down one as soon as it ejects it, and that creates the repeating pulse. So like if I were to take and add it, if for some reason, like if you got 2 of them in here at the same time, it shot one out, but the second one was still enough to keep the redstone message going. So this one should be fairly effective. Also, I wouldn't trust it myself unless you really have to use a compact area, because server lag will probably end up possibly making it fail, whereas this one is going to be much faster, and it will be able to keep up with chests and chests full of snowballs if you send them all through your system, so you won't have to worry about it ever getting bogged down. So use those at your discretion. I personally would recommend using this one if you think you're going to have any issues. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for Phase 3, which describes the core of the sorting system.